Hi, and thank you for watching TargetedWest.com. This is DJ Chris at show number 182. It is the 12th of October 2025. The weather is nice. It's 72 degrees here in Lodi, and it's a Columbus Day holiday. The opinions of our guests are that of their own and not that of DJ Chris and Targeted West. We're a peaceful work group that gets together about the fourth industrial revolution, which includes technologies that affect your brain. And without further ado, I have Kevin B. with me to talk about various topics, including his article that he's posted. So, hello, Kevin. How are you?
Well, I'm doing okay. It's been a rough 24 hours. I mentioned earlier, but I'll go ahead and repeat it here on air, that they came at me pretty hard in the last day. They don't want me doing this. You know, they've made that very clear. So, but it's been in the form of, let's see, because I put notes down, and I knew that I was going to need it. It's been in the form of, well, no sleep, essentially. They gave me a little bit. They had me vomiting, shivers, temperature increase, etc. Brain dead is the primary thing that they've been doing with me, just, you know, taking it out. So that's what I had in preparation. But let me introduce myself. My name is Kevin Boykin. I'm a targeted individual. I write frequently about targeted individual topics. I have written over 100 articles that can be found on my WordPress. I have a few of them that we're going to discuss tonight. I make videos that try to explain. Let me see if I can fix that a little bit. Try to explain my articles a little bit better. I primarily make the videos to promote the articles. So I know, but you know, I'm grateful for what all the TIs do. You know, there's a place for everything, I think. But what happened was, let me talk about my story a little bit, if that's okay. As far as I know, I don't know that there was a time that I was ever not targeted. I was adopted. It looks like both of my genetic parents are college professors, and my adoptive parents were most definitely not on the other end of the spectrum. It caused a lot of problems, and I believe that part of the formation, I think that the targeting was trying to make weapons. They were trying to forge us into something. And one of the ways this is documented that you can create what some people call it superhuman abilities is by trouble. You know, when people have issues. The more they're abused, the more that they have to go through, it creates, essentially the way that it works is they become nervous and they become very super aware. It creates it's been identified to create a hyper sort of a pattern recognition situation, which I have. So let that be a testimony to the things that I've gone through in my life. Now, I was abused severely as a youth. I expected that wasn't just my father's idea. He was probably pushed on by the program. I would expect, because it didn't make any sense. But so I went through that, and now the program has changed for me through the years. It was different when I was younger, you know, and it's presented like as bad luck. You know, a lot of the things that we're familiar with stops along the way. They revealed themselves about 7-8 years ago, and you know, just came out completely. And it's been a ride. Now, what happened was I didn't want to get involved in the movement at all. You know, I didn't see a point. I didn't see how we were going to be able to defeat it, and I didn't want to waste efforts and this and that. So I removed myself completely. So if you haven't heard of me, that's why. Now, what I went and did was I went and played video games. You know, and so I did it for a couple of years, and eventually they started messing with my video game playing to where I could no longer continue. So they drove me away from the video game playing. They drove me to being involved and writing and, you know, other things. But I also, just for the record, I invent things, and I come up with theories pretty regularly. But I've also created two intelligence gathering systems that we can discuss. I did not link those, and I apologize. No, but we'll only cover them quickly. Let's do it now, just so we get them out of the way. One of them is called the principle of negative definition, and the way that it works is when information is not freely available, what the principle of negative definition does is it works to identify what information can be gathered from the wake of the item. from the effect that it has on its surroundings, etc. And oftentimes that approach can reveal more information than if you had access to the source to begin with. So it's a collection of tools, and I've been using it nonstop. Now, I was using it before, and before I recognized what it was and put it all together into a nice little toolbox, you know. But then I came up with something called the human influence cartography. I was watching what was happening with TIs. Now there's a lots on the cartography on my WordPress, and I'm sorry I didn't link it. I could still do it, but it just you know, find you know, my WordPress there. Go there. I came up with it a couple months ago, so. But just, you know, type it in the search if you can. But anyways, what it does is it endeavors to cover all the potential vectors for human influence. So because what happened was, and I wrote an article that explains how I created this, how it was made, you know, the circumstances that led to its creation. So I recommend that one more than anything. Read how it was made when it comes to the cartography. It's amazing. Sorry, but anyways. So there was a woman that had approached me and asked me to tell her story. She was from Belarus. And so I did that. You can find that article on my WordPress. But she had presented with two things I had never seen before in the targeting program, you know, and I didn't know that was possible. You know, so it made me wonder, what is it what else don't we know? You know what I mean? And so that's what led me to the creation of the human influence cartography, because it can be used to predict the things. You know, it takes working, you know, and honestly, you can download it, you know, it's available there, but I recommend that you use an AI with it to help you out, because it's difficult, it's complex, there's a lot going on there, and the ideas, you know, so just a little bit of help, you know, is good in my opinion. But so those are the two intelligence gathering systems that I created, and they flipped out. As you can imagine, they did not care for that one, not one bit. My targeting increased severely. They separated me from being able to work at all. It's strange. A lot of that, my best work comes when I'm severely limited. You know, we can talk about, you know what, I don't really want to talk about that right now. So let's move on. I didn't really take the program seriously anymore. What happened was they pushed me too far. It's like at this point, you know, what do I got to lose? What can you possibly threaten me with at this point? It's just going to change. That's all. All they have is more. I'm going to get that anyway. What's going to change from when I change my behavior? You know what I mean? And I can tell you what's going to change, at least a little bit, because I'm experiencing it today. Today's like a vacation for me. You know, normally they have me knocked out and wiped out. I have access to my brain a little bit today, in case you can't tell. You know, and instead of just constantly being asleep, I was able to be awake today, you know? And so I'm like, this is wonderful. I'm going to try to get every interview scheduled that I possibly can, you know, because I need these vacations from what they normally do. You can see that I've been pushed a little too far with this constant stuff, this, you know, the same thing every day. Moving on. So my past youth, it originally presented as bad luck. Covered the family, the RA, and I've been bedridden for more than a year. I'm censored on Facebook, YouTube. I had to go to Gab and Rumble, which, you know, Rumble has got a decent audience. Gab, though, there's not a lot of TIs there, but I still post everything I put there in 3 different TI forums. Nobody reads it, but I mean, you know, whatever. So at least it's there. You know, it's another location. So also I want to give a shout out to the forum known as Project Avalon. I strongly recommend that TIs go take a look at that. There's not a lot of traffic, but I do put my stuff up there. There does seem to be a lot of readers. It's a very ambitious site. It's got an ambitious scope to it. They cover a lot of things. And the TI stuff, it fits right in. And so I recommend that you guys check that out if you haven't already. Now let's move on. Let's move on to the work. I've covered that. I've written over 100 articles. The theories, you know, they're posted up on my WordPress. I invented a new fabric, essentially, that stays supple. I mean, there's already something like this out there, but mine works it works differently, geometry. It stays supple until there's an impact, and then it hardens up. So there's already something out there, but it's unreliable. I looked at it. It's in a fluid, and they just hope that these pieces are going to click, and it does seem to work, but mine is reliable. Mine is something that can be, anyways, that's neither here nor there, because that's not targeting. Let's move on. But anyway, so I can't control what comes up. You know what I mean? I just go with whatever the direction that he sends me, and I do the best job that I can. And my thing is ideas. I pump out ideas regularly, and I recognize my limitations. So I get the ideas going, I take it as far as I can, and then I would be grateful if somebody else would pick it up and run with it. I don't have any problem with that, because I know my limitations. Like Clint Eastwood said, a man's got to know his limitations. And I'm better off sticking with the things that I can do that it's very difficult for others to accomplish. So I prefer to do that and just hand them off every time. You know what I mean? Once I come up with them. So, whatever. Hopefully people will pick up on that stuff. Let's move on. Let's talk about some of the articles. The first one is Murder by Proxy. That's my calling card article. I saw that, actually, if you want to know the truth, it came from a specific story. It was a scientist. And I want to say her first name was Amy, but I can't think of the last one. But she was a TI, and I do have the article on there. I just don't want to go looking for it right now. But a well-known scientist, well-known TI, and she was unalived, let's say. I don't know what words I can say, and I apologize if I'm going outside of that. So, but I saw that, and just the concept that
Amy Esridge. Amy Esridge.
Yes, I've actually got two articles on Amy Esridge.
Thank you, Christopher Wells.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
So you'll find both of those on my WordPress. One of them is kind of sappy because I do I identify with her, and then the other one is a bit much more factual. So anyways, but I saw that and I couldn't stand the concept of them blaming her for suicide, and an end to the investigation, etc. Victim blaming. I couldn't live with it, man. So I got all fired up and went and wrote this article, and I think I did a pretty good job. You can read it yourself and tell me what you think. It's called, reward. No, that's a different one. It's called, a responsible reframing of end-of-life cases with TIs. It's essentially so, and that's what Endeavor is to accomplish as well. So I put it up, I have it on my WordPress. I created a PDF that can be downloaded from that site because I want people to take it and run with it. This thing needs to be spread out, in my opinion. This is important. And when TIs, these things happen to them, it's important for us to call it out for what it actually is. Because I heard, this just happened to some woman in some foreign land. I should have paid more attention, but again, they've had me pretty dopey recently. So, and then it was immediately called an S. You know what I mean? And so I couldn't believe it, even after that article has been out for 2 months. And this is another thing that we're going to touch on. But I strongly recommend that one. Please download it. Please store it somewhere, both on your computer and off. They don't want this one out there. Let's move on. Next one, where it counts, putting our efforts, where it'll do some good. Now that's I just put that one out yesterday. And it endeavors to list the things that we should be doing that we're probably not, because I see a lot of TIs just sort of passing around the same information, patents and stuff. What are you going to do with that patent? You know what I mean? Are you going to take that and create a counter for it? I've done that a few times, and you'll find those things on my WordPress. But it just makes me wonder. Now, there's something to be said for archiving. But endless, constant archiving and seeing it as something like forward movement. So we need to take a look at where we need to put our efforts and where they'll actually do some good. And that identifies two things at the very beginning, with the rest of them being malleable according to the situation. So please read that one. Let's move on to the 5-part series. That's one I just finished day before yesterday. Maybe yesterday, you'll have to look. That took a long time. It took a lot of effort. That is, it's a companion piece for the target individual experience about how to handle it successfully. The reason why I'm able to remain happy and productive is because I follow the things that are in that 5-part series, and I strongly recommend everyone read that one. Other than Murder by Proxy, please go to that one. It's long. There are 5 parts, and each part has got is a little loquacious. It carries on a little bit, but I mean, I don't think there's a wasted word. So please check that out. 5 parts. Just finished the last one. I need to. I'm going to create a mini booklet out of that with an introductory cover page and that sort of thing. So I didn't sum it up at the end of the last one. So if you're looking for that, you're not going to find it. Let's move on. Who will be your friend, the perps or God? Now, this was a piece that I wrote that just before I moved on to the reward system, which we're going to discuss next. And it identifies that, because I'll tell you, I'm going to just talk about my experience. It was Socrates that said if he didn't have an audience, he would pay for one. And I'm very similar. I need something to bounce my ideas off of, and so I do that with them. I don't know how many other people do that. I've never heard anybody else claim this. But what I do is, now that was a problem. They had moved in and into my mind, so, and set up shop to stay. Now I worked to change that through methods, replacing them with God. Because one of the things I noticed is that the God and the program are like oil and water; they don't coexist. When one comes in, the other one gets pushed out. And so, but they can coexist in the same being, and that's where I'm at now. I can lean the direction of them, and that happens a lot throughout the day. I can lean the direction of God at any time because I've created these neural pathways or the ability to get to it. So now, understand they're going to fight you guys on this. Do not look for your connection with God as an emotional reaction, because they can control our emotions. When we're doing the right thing, God is there for us, whether we can feel emotions or not. It's for the best, and to be honest with you, and I'll move into that. I won't even discuss that yet. So let's move on. That's an important article though, and it does prepare you for the next one that we're going to talk about, the reward system. And this was something that I had been working on for a while in the background, it's a recognition of how they marshal the reward system and other aspects. I call it the reward system, but also when they punish with it as well. And so that's I strongly recommend reading that one to understand how it is that they set up shop in our minds. That goes a long way to explain the methods that are used. It's something that I picked up over a long period of time. So moving on, chemical targeting. Now, this was an article that I was asked to write like 2-3 months ago, but who wants to write on that? You know what I mean? I can tell you that none of us do. It's mysterious, it's furtive, it's like confusing, and I still don't understand where it fits in, but I covered it best I could, and there were several areas, vectors in which chemicals are part of our lives. So please read that one. I was very surprised, including one particular TI that claims to put regular cameras that you can buy, like at Walmart or whatever. He puts them out there, and he catches evidence of VOCs, volatile organic compounds. The evidence that these things show is exactly in line with VOCs, and it would make sense that they would use that. So that's a hint, a clue then about part of the targeting, the chemical aspect of the targeting program, I should say. So now the one that I haven't released yet, how the program holds us back. I haven't finished writing it yet. That's the only reason I haven't released it yet. Well, plus I don't know that I would have today, because actually I have another one that I did publish, but I haven't put out there yet. I'm trying to put out one per day if instead of just inundating everyone with stuff, because it's just too much. And but this is a good one. Now, what this one does is look, you guys, one of the things you're going to find with my videos and articles is that the health and the well-being of the TIs is more important to me than being liked. And so I will call things out the way that they need to be called out. And if I'm wrong, I will apologize. But I can back up my position and my methodology all day long. I'm doing it for you guys. You know what I mean? And I will suffer whatever they throw at me. I think a lot of us operate this way, but I'm no different in that way. So How the program holds us back. Well, that one goes into various ideas about how individuals, for example, I did already speak about, hello everybody, by the way. I did speak about constantly passing patents and information and being, because the targeting will make us feel like we're making advances, like we're getting someplace. It makes us feel like action means forward movement, and that's not the case. So again, we already touched on some of that, but the program, you know, how the program holds us back is going to discuss the specifics of how they accomplish that. It's going to talk about the various behaviors that we engage in. Now, I can tell you one of the things is that there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of gratitude out there for creators, and maybe you can understand that one and agree with it. But I was speaking to another person. I don't want to say who it is without their okay, but it's a well-known TI, and they were saying the same thing. As a matter of fact, they came at me with it without even me asking them to. So I was very surprised at that, and I was grateful though, because I go through my own thing. Look, almost every day, you guys, I come close to walking away and just be like, there is no point in doing this. Nobody's going to read it. Nobody's going to appreciate it. And now it's compounded by a few things. The numbers that I have on WordPress and Substack, they go in and alter every day. They lower those numbers and make it look like I'm getting a lot fewer in the way of readers. And so, yeah, don't believe those. Don't believe those figures. It doesn't matter anyway. You know, I don't care. Once you know that it's not real, you know, who are they doing it for at that point? You know, whose benefit is this happening for? So, but there are places like Project Avalon where I can put my items, and then I get a competent count of views on it, and that I go by those numbers. You know, and those reach into the hundreds. So I'm hoping that people are reading this material, because I do believe, look, I won't write unless there's a story there. I don't write just to write. If I see an angle, I will write. If I think it can help TIs, I'll write. And so you're going to find that to be a very pointed sort of similarity between the, you know, the various articles at my WordPress. So that was, I'm looking forward to that one. And again, that's probably going to piss some people off. But I mean, the bottom line is, because look, you know, I create, and I've had people approach me, and be critical. Oh, you should do this, and you should do that, and what's wrong with you, and this and that. And so my first question is always this: what have you done? What have you done for the community? You know, and when I get you know, that's when I go, that's what I thought. You know what I mean? So please, you know, when we require criticism, we'll search you out. You know, but when we're trying to get work done, please keep clear, you know. And so I'm not going to allow those sorts of things to happen. You know, I'm not going to allow the perps to stop me. I'm not going to allow criticism or anything like that to slow me down either. I mean, you know, you got to do what you got to do. This ain't going to end well for me. Okay, and once I've and I accepted that. So once you've accepted that, it's like whatever. You know what I mean? I don't really care. You know, it reminds me of something from I believe it was the Phaedo. Socrates. He said he was talking about somebody, men, grown men, being led out to the gallows, crying and bawling their eyes out, and he said it's as if they just escaped the gallows that day, they would live forever. You know, our numbers are, you know, our days are numbered. You know, it's finite. We're gonna die. We can't get out of that. You know, so it's just a matter of when. You know, and some people believe that the only real control you have is how you die. You know, and spending that in the right way, and that's something that I've considered. So that's what I have prepared. I don't know how many minutes we're into. I can discuss a little bit more about why I get the targeting to the level that I do.
You have 20 more minutes left, if that's okay.
Now I'm going to talk about what I don't like to talk about. You're going to find articles on my WordPress about my mind. It works differently. It's theorized that you know, I have something that's strange. Let me bring up the title. They're messing with my mind too much right now. So I'll bring up the list of things. Again, I don't like to talk about this, but it will give you an idea as to why they're doing the things that they're doing to me, if I can find it. I apologize. I didn't I wasn't planning on talking about this too much. That's very odd. Not seeing it. They might have gotten rid of it. Anyways, there's a host of things that I have. Oh, there it is. Okay, so you guys ready for this word salad? Okay, the first thing I have is HSAM, highly superior autobiographical memory. It's very similar to photographic memory. The way that mine works, it can vary from person to person. Mine works, I get three things reliably. The fact in question, the circumstances where I learned it, and who was present at the time. Those are the things that I can tell you reliably, basically, for all the things that I know, and there's a lot. But let's move on. Synesthesia. Synesthesia is a cognitive trait that allows, well, it incorporates, you guys probably know some of it, but it incorporates the neural pathways and the brain power, etc., of the senses. And the way that it ends up working out best for somebody like myself is it creates more neural pathways for me to be able to store information. It's very helpful in that regard. Next one is enhanced semantic pragmatic linguistic acuity. Now, you need to understand, if you're going to look these things up, you're not going to find them. And the reason why is because I don't fit into any known cognitive traits that are on record. And so we had to start looking at what was actually there and trying to, it's strange. I do a lot of work and I make these breakthroughs and I write these theories and all this stuff. But the most important thing I might be able to contribute to the world is an understanding of my own brain. It's not even something I would do. It's something that I am. I mean, it's very odd. But let's move on. Synthetic conceptual pattern synthesis. Now, this is the big one. And the way that my cognitive traits work is there's a downward slide. That starts with synthetic conceptual pattern synthesis. It seems to work outside of time. It has access to all sorts of information. It almost has I don't want to get too weird about it, but it's very odd. It presents in a very odd way. It's very, very powerful. And then it moves on to the synesthesia. It translates what it has to the synesthesia. The synesthesia takes it and translates that to the enhanced semantic pragmatic linguistic acuity. Now, each one of these is, I'm very gifted. And again, you see why I don't want to talk about it, because I don't like to brag. I mean, I just don't do it. So, but I'm not bragging. I'm just being honest. But people will not take it this way. So, I usually just don't talk about it, but I'll do it here. And just to explain why it is that they don't allow me to think normally, because every single day I face, brain deadening things. And if there's any doubts, I don't blame you. It sounds crazy, but go ahead and take a look at my work and tell me what you think. Look at those, the things that I've described here. Look at the quality of my articles. The soundness of the intelligence gathering systems I've created, and the theories that I put out there, as well as the inventions. I mean, it all points to the same thing. So that's what's going on with me. Now, at first they weren't like this, but once I started putting some of these things out there, the intelligence gathering systems, they changed. They changed the game. They keep me dumbed down. But even in that some of the best work that I was just discussing came from those circumstances. So they don't know what to do. They keep changing, or it stays pretty the same. But the only thing that changes is the severity a little bit here and there. So that's what I go through. Again, I'm bedridden, have been for over a year. I have rheumatoid arthritis. They make it worse to the point where I can't use my hands correctly, and all of my joints are screwed. And so that's what I go through. Lots of pain, but I just I can put up with it. God made me tough, and I'm very grateful for the gifts that God gave me. Very much so. I never take him for granted. I'll constantly stay in contact with him. If you read the 5-part series, you'll see what I'm talking about. It's a proven way for TIs to be able to make it through this. Now, we don't have the option of going back to our old life. All we have is moving forward, and this is the only direction that I can see that will actually be workable, that makes sense, and something that will last. And so, and there's a lot of different angles to it, but it all kind of comes together. So please read those, you guys. I know I've been very talkative. I drank one of these caffeinated drinks. My ex-girlfriend sent me something in the mail. Let me see. I don't have it around here. No. Oh, it's this thing. I don't know what that is. None. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this. Anyways, I'm very grateful that she sent me that, Cesar. But I do get this way anyway. A lot of times once these sorts of things occur, instead of dumbing me down, they'll do the opposite. And so my guess is that they just expect that will be discrediting as well. And maybe it is. I don't know.
Well, everybody in the chat room thinks you're great, so keep going.
No, okay. Well, that's really all I have prepared. I mean, we can go on and talk about other articles if you guys like, or whatever it is you would like to. If you have questions, I'll be more than happy to answer.
You can keep. You can bring up a couple more articles, and then we can take Q&A from the audience. You have 60 people or 60 audience members now.
So let's take a look then at some of the things I've gotten done here. One of the articles I created was called R&M for Perps. It's about how the perps are also targeted. They may not realize that, but that's part of the targeting, isn't it? So that's an interesting one. Let's move on. There's a lot of drafts that I still need to get to, theories and various stuff. The comedic orchestration, I strongly recommend that one. It shows, and then that will lead me into something else that I want to discuss. Targeting gets interrupted by comedy. And so it works greater than it should. And so, put some, check out that article. Put something funny in there, starting to make me a little sick here. But also, give me a second here, you guys. Okay. I apologize. Yeah, where was I?
You're just about to take questions from the audience.
Okay, let's do that, you guys. I'm sorry.
No worries. That way it gives you a break and you can take a breather and contemplate your answer. We have Kevin here today with us, a brilliant mind, and he would like to take your questions. So come on in and ask. Hit *6 on your computer or cell phone to speak.
It does, Krista. It works to disrupt that. Now, let me continue. The thing that I was going to say before they hit me. I'm about to order a couple of items. They're games. One of them is called Simon. You guys remember that with the lights that light up? And the other one is called the other one is called Bop It. Now, Simon works through memory. Now, Bop It works through processing speed. I'm going to buy both of these and try them out to see how it works to break their spell in the moment. Obviously, that's not going to do anything permanent. But when things are going bad, if we pick one of those up and work it, it might be enough to break the spell. Because maybe you guys are familiar, but when you get active, that works to do the same thing. If you get up and move and start doing something or multitask or something like that, it can take up that brain power and push them out a little bit. So that's what I'm trying to do.
Thank you, Kevin. Hi, this is Krista.
Hi, Krista.
Krista, go ahead.
Hey. Do you happen to live in a residence where you have to share a wall with another resident? I live in an apartment, which is why I'm asking.
I used to. I used to share a wall and a roof, and of course, both of those were perps. I'm now living with my father in a retirement community. I moved in here to help him because I was doing better at that time. Of course, the perps made things worse, and now we help each other where we can, but both of us are pretty screwed at this point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
so, go ahead.
Do you have any sense of how their weapons are attributed to rheumatoid arthritis?
Well, I mean, that's a good question. I haven't actually started going down the rabbit hole on some of these technologies. I was speaking. I saw Amy Holm in an interview with David A. said that she didn't know how they affect the brain. And so I was a little surprised by that. So I did some research and I found that a lot of people like to point to the Frey effect that Dr. Alan Frey came out with in 1961. But the truth of the matter is they were unable to get anywhere with that. So the V2K that we experience is not from the Frey effect.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for asking.
I think it's quantum entanglement. Next question for Kevin.
Hey, can you hear me?
I can.
Yeah, what's up, Laura? Come on in.
Laura from Colorado. I just wanted to say you said I don't know why I share, and I don't know if anybody's listening. I want you to know that people are listening. Chris has a book club that has 200 and something TIs that have written books. You know,
Okay.
we read them. I appreciate anybody's testimony, and I feel less alone.
Okay.
So, and the reason I asked for the link in the chat is because when we do try to look up stuff, they keep us away and veer us away from certain materials. So I appreciate you putting the link in, and there's somebody out there listening. I think it's beneficial. I appreciate, you know, all TI stories that I hear because, like I said, it makes me feel less alone. And yeah, when I get up, I think of all the TIs that I know across the country that are getting up too and still doing it, still doing the best they can with what they got. So I also think it's going to be exposed eventually, and people will look back on our stories and on our testimonies and might make a difference.
Yeah, I think it already is. It's already coming out. I think the turning point now, I wrote an article on, it's called a wrench in the machine of subterfuge. And it's essentially the times in which the powers in the targeting program were exposed to the public. So there's a few of them, more than you might expect. Of course, one of them is the Havana syndrome, as they call it, of the FBI agents. But there's several others. So I can't even remember. They made me, they blinked my mind. I apologize, you guys. I hope that
No worries. Yeah, you're doing a pretty good job. Next question for Kevin. Don't be shy. Come on in.
I'm totally approachable, man. I don't bite.
Hi, Kevin. Billy here.
Hey, Billy.
Billy, go
Hi,
ahead.
Kevin. Could you bring up and talk about the article that you wrote on July 25th, if you don't
July
mind?
25th. Do you have the title?
I don't, actually. I'm sorry.
Okay, so let me take a look then. July 25th of this year?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let me find it. I don't have one here. I've got one on the 28th and one on the 15th, one on the 31st. I have the name of them. The name of them are a little. One of them is called "The Repressed Brotherhood: Homoeroticism and Power in Targeting Structures." I don't know if that's the one you're talking about.
Perhaps it may have been taken down. I see the comment that was shared by Targeted Justice asking me to.
Oh, I see. Right. Okay. So I can talk about that if you guys would like. Yeah, I do have that article still up. Let me bring it up. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about the whole thing that happened.
Yes, please.
Yeah, because that's all. So let me see. It was. Well, let's just target it. That should bring it up. Yeah. Maybe I should use a different word. I should have used a different word. Wait, here we go. Targeted Justice, a candid look, and you are absolutely right, and I apologize. It was not in line. It did not line up according to dates. So good job, and I was wrong. So let's take a look at it. Targeted Justice, a candid look, the valve that doesn't open. And so all I did, I thought it was relatively light criticism. I didn't understand why they reacted the way that they did. I'll go ahead and put it in the chat if you guys want to read it. There we go. So it was just I had noticed that they were absolutely impossible to get a hold of. It didn't matter what I did. I responded to what they had to say. I DM'd them. I sent them emails, I made videos. I did everything short of smoke signals. and I got nowhere with it. And so then I'm like, well, what's going on here? And then I took a look at, one of the things they responded was I still have it up because I couldn't believe that they sent it, but it was a list of their accomplishments, it said. Now, one of the things I noticed is that for a legal group, it's surprisingly bereft of legal accomplishments. They get a whole lot of things done. None of it is what they're supposed to be getting done. So that will be on their website. I recommend that people take a look at that. And they have website, they have lawsuits that go on. They don't seem to get anywhere. They have a murky.
We don't want to disparage targeted justice on this call, please.
They have well, I mean, if you want me to stop talking about it, I will. I was asked to talk about it, so okay.
Okay, no worries. Anything else you'd like to talk about, Kevin?
Well, I mean, you can go and read that article in its entirety on my WordPress, and they did respond, and they sent me a they sent me a cease and desist. So I looked up the law, and there wasn't anything to it. They lied, and so I sent them a response, telling them that I don't see that they have anything. If they can point out specifically where I've violated the law, I'll be more than happy to make changes. I never heard back from them. So there it is. Moving on. Any other questions?
No worries. Any questions
one that won't
for
get me in
Kevin?
trouble, hopefully.
No worries.
I tuned in late, so if you said kind of what part of the country you live in, what state?
I'm in California. Yeah, I'm in Northern California. I'm north of Chris, and somewhere pretty close between San Francisco and Sacramento.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm in Lodi, so that's and you're over there in that area code. Yeah. Any more questions for Kevin?
Are you in Silicon Valley? Hi.
I'm not. It's a bit further north than Silicon Valley is.
Oh, okay, because I'm in Silicon Valley.
Yeah, I would say it's closer to Napa Valley. It's very,
okay.
Quite close to Napa Valley, right? Calistoga and all that. I'm sorry, I didn't mean. Yeah, that as well.
Question for Kevin?
And did you say how long when you first started speaking? Did you say how long you've been targeted?
As far as I know, my entire life. The program changed. I think that I was, picked out for this sort of thing early on. Now, the program, it went through phases. It presented differently at different times, and I don't know how much that had to do with the advancement of their technology and how much was just a decision. But
yeah. Okay, thank you. Yeah, mine went through phases, but I knew exactly who, what, when, why, and where, and because it's payback from law enforcement for me. But I want to say, because it's nice to hear that you're in California, I want to say that I'm between LA and San Bernardino. So thank you. Welcome.
Yeah, so we've got Northern California, somewhere in between, in Lodi, and then Southern California represented here too.
Yeah, and there's a big group of PIs in LA area too.
I'm not surprised. There's a lot of them in Sacramento, in that area. So I don't know. And then I hear about a lot in Florida as well, but I've never been. So.
Well, and I want to say, even though Chris didn't want any disparaging, I just want to say thank you for your honesty about the way things went with TJ, Targeted Justice. Thank you.
You're very welcome. It's for you guys that I do these things. I understand that there's going to be backlash. People are not going to like me. It happens regularly with my writing, and I can brave that. Hey, truth above all else. And if people can't handle that, then I apologize. I recommend a different writer.
Yeah, don't apologize for being you. Thank you.
Yeah, don't apologize. Don't worry about it. Any more questions for Kevin?
Hi, Kevin. Hi, can you hear me?
Oh. Come on in.
Hi, Kevin. Okay? I'm sorry. I'll make it quick. Hi, Kevin. This is Regina. We met online when we were talking about Jesse Belchin's scans. I just want to say I love your writing. Thank you for writing and putting it out there. Your writing is, I enjoy reading it. Thank you.
Thank you for that. I need that, believe it or not. And it's not just me. I want to give the name of the creator that came at me with this same thing. So I didn't realize how common this was. You know what I mean? I didn't speak to other creators. But man, this person broached the conversation with me and was very serious, firm about it. I was like, whoa. And I was very grateful that this person did that because it enabled me to answer back in kind. So it's a common thing. Creators don't get appreciation, and that's part of the program. Now, that can happen probably in a few different ways. They can make us just forget. They can make us be distasteful to either the writer or the article itself, or they can go back in and lower your numbers. They can remove your pluses and your hearts and your thumbs up and all that stuff. And they do that with me on WordPress and Substack, as I mentioned. So.
Was there another person that had a question for Kevin? I heard them.
Yes. Can you hear me? Oh.
Yes.
I hear you. Sorry, here we go. 2 people again. Go ahead.
Can you hear me okay? This is Devin.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Hi. Hi there. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. This is Devin. Hi, Kevin. I wanted to ask just a question. I'll give just a very, very brief background for myself because this is actually the first time I've spoken on this phone call before. But my background was that I was working as a designer on the innovation team of Hasbro Toys when I was attacked with, what I think is now the B2K because a couple of years later in another dangerous incident, they started speaking to me and used my Instagram handle and stuff like that. The thing that I wanted to mention, because you're a writer and something that I'm concerned of for myself and other people in the creative industry, is that for the past couple of years, I've been trying to work on my painting portfolio and my creative writing. I was writing a book series. Then I had people come in through V2K say that they were the thought police and that they weren't okay with anything that I was writing. And they started sending me a constant stream of negativity, fake things, said this was Trump's America, and he called open season on, trans people and stuff like that. I happen to be a trans man. But in any case, they've been creatively blocking me, and I don't know how they're able to do it, but they can just block my comprehension of reading. They can block it's not natural creative block. This is a induced creative block, and they're overwriting me, and it's like identity theft. They can move my body, speak through me, all sorts of things. It's very, very concerning. But I just thought I would mention that and then also ask if you've been blocked, because it sounds like you're writing and you're continuing to be able to access your thoughts and maybe your critical thinking and higher order thinking. Whereas for me, they've been blocking that entirely, telling me that I have brain damage and things like that. So.
Okay. Thank you for the question. Well, part of it is that they are dumbing me down, but the cognitive traits that I have are real. And so even when they have me at half, brain power, that part of me, that SCPS, is still very strong. And so half the time when I could barely even, operate, that part of me was still knocking out some of the best work I've ever put out. So they don't know what to do with me. I present differently. I do this a lot. I'll be like, well, I don't know why they can't do this when I can do it. I'm not a good example in any situation. I've learned to stop doing that. That's a dumb thing to do. I can't hold other people, to anything. It's just I have to use other people and that sort of a thing. I promise you guys that I'm telling the truth. You'll see it in my work. So.
Very good. Okay, we're talking to Kevin B.
Please go on, Devin.
Go ahead.
Well, I guess just as a follow-up, because one of my concerns is that with what they've been doing to me, particularly with my with my portfolio, is that somehow they're able to do this strange, some sort of a facial recognition sort of overlay on the faces in my portraits. I'm a very accurate artist, and I can depict the person in front of me in a very accurate manner. I can no longer do that with what they're doing to me. So, but it's like they're doing some sort of AI facial overlay where different people's faces are in the work, which never happened to me before. before they started doing this to me, and they start sending like a narrative to go along with it. It's sort of ridiculous. But on that though, part of my concern, I suppose, as far as strategizing, like for ourselves as a community to protect ourselves, I'm concerned for the creative industry because it seems like propagandizing techniques are being tested on me. Like, how do you hijack somebody else's body? And basically, they keep saying "Weekend at Bernie's," like they're doing "Weekend at Bernie's" with me or something like that. like where they're treating me like I'm dead already, and they're just like moving my body.
Oh, I see. Wow.
And yeah, so but I mentioned that because again, when it comes to the creative industry, I feel like there's the possibility of corporate espionage in this whole thing because I was attacked in the workplace. And I just, one of the things that I guess that I've been trying to ask the targeted individual community is like how best to move forward with something like this because, I don't understand how it's occurring when it comes to the corporate environment of things, and not just like because I don't know like how many targeted individuals still have connections with corporate environments or educational environments and things like that. Because obviously we get isolated earlier on. That seems to be a part of the handbook or whatever, is to isolate the victim from their connections and things like that, and then you can essentially do whatever you want to them. And ruin their reputations and things.
Right.
I guess my question is, as far as what they're doing, I honestly don't know what why they attacked me. That's a question I'm sure that we all have, but I'm just not sure what may be a potential their potential objective is in this entire thing, because I know that a lot of it has to do with possibly control, and this might be like an extension of like an MK Ultra sort of program. But I guess, that's something that shouldn't be going on, and I don't know how, how to strategize to basically, stop something like this. I've reached out to Interpol, the UN, I know other people have as well.
Do you have a question for Kevin?
I should probably get to an answer.
I guess that's the question.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that. What I would say is, first of all, I'm a musician, and they get in the way of me doing it. But they primarily just screw up my hands, mess up my wrists. That's a big one that they like to target. So sometimes they'll target my brain and keep that sort of thing. But a lot of times they want to hear what I got to play. Because, I've been playing for 35 years. That was the majority of what I had dedicated my mind to for the majority of my life. The area that controls music is way overbuilt up there. But yeah, so I can understand what you're saying now. If it happens in the mind, they can affect it, and pretty much everything does, considering that's the what we see the world through. As was said, I think, therefore I am, is the only thing we know for sure. And beyond that, it's all speculation. It can't be proven. So, the targeting program sort of exemplifies that concept. They're trying to make me go blank right now. Let's get back on track. Please remind me again. They don't want me to talk about this, I guess. I apologize.
Yeah, no worries. Well, we're about to wrap this up. Any more questions for Kevin? Because we're going to the book club next.
Kevin, you can get a hold of me on Facebook or Gab or something like that.
Under Kevin with your last name.
Where does one go to read your writings?
It would be the WordPress. I put several articles linked here, and it looks like one of the viewers just linked my WordPress itself. I'll go ahead and link it right now. That way we can just take care of it.
I'm calling in, Kevin. What's your surname?
Boykin.
Boykin?
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Kevin, is there anything that you use for shielding or that you prefer to use?
Things have gotten so bad that I finally am going to start putting some money into that sort of thing. I've watched the interview that Amy Holm did with David A., and she did talk about things, and she seems to be a believer, and that's enough for me to go ahead and to start putting some money in it. Things are so bad, they pushed me to the point where I have to. You know, that's where I'm at now, and so I'm just about to start doing it. They talked about a few things, orgonite, etc. They have a source specifically that they believe in, and then some other things. The video is worth watching. If you haven't seen it.
Thank you. Well, that concludes our interview. That concludes our interview. We're going to be switching to the book club, but Kevin may be around after the book club to answer more questions. I'm sure you will be, because you had that caffeine drink and you're going good.
You can tell.
The book club tonight is about Dr. Jerry Marzersky's book called An Amazing Journey into the Psychotic Mind, Breaking the Spell of the Ivory Tower, and he talks about the telepathy or the V2K that we get as being spirits or archons. And I know caller 00 knows about archons, and he believes that that's what it is, and we're going to have him on the call to discuss that more and bring up the technical part of how we're being controlled by MK Ultra 2.0. So anyway, that's the book. Again, it's Jerry Marzersky, Marzinski, An Amazing Journey into the Psychotic Mind, Breaking the Spell of the Ivory Tower. It's on Amazon Kindle and hard copy. Okay, now back to Jerry. To Kevin, and we'll keep talking if you want to interview. If you want to ask more questions, we're still recording.
Absolutely.
Anybody have a question for Kevin?
I haven't been to your site yet, but do you put out your email?
Yeah, let me put it in there. I'll just. There we go. It's a little old, but it's not AOL, so there's that. Interesting. I'm trying to send it and it's not going. Yeah, I'm not certain I can. It's not looking like I can. That's fascinating. I don't know why it's doing that. But any other questions while I'm battling this? I'm not seeing that it's working. So,
if you want to get a hold of Kevin, if you want to get a hold of Kevin, you can contact me. Go ahead. I hear you. Come on in.
I got it up. Go ahead.
Oh, hi. My name is Edith. Did you say the coloring book is available on Amazon?
That wasn't me. Somebody else. I did see
somebody was coloring. Oh, the coloring. The coloring book is available on Lulu.com. Go to DJ Chris at Lulu. Go to Lulu.com. Type in DJ Chris, an adult coloring book, and you can get a copy.
Excellent.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Anyway, we've got Kevin here, a writer. I also write Kevin on Substack, and I've written 6 books on Amazon. I have coloring books like the one right there that I made,
nice.
And I wrote a fictional book about my grandmother.
Really? Fascinating.
And I love writing, and I all of a sudden, like you did, all of a sudden I got this energy to do it out of nowhere. It was right after COVID, and I figured if I made it through COVID, I'm going to start writing, and I started doing it, and I have a lot of subscribers on Substack, so I'm doing pretty good. And I understand the energy that you get from writing. And it's nice to get a little feedback, too, of course, like you did tonight.
Yes, yes. I'm very grateful. Thank you all. You guys, I'm very appreciative. Again, this is not something that creators get a lot. And it's probably the program. I'm not blaming anyone. So it's just what it is. Thank you, Krista, for tuning in, and everyone else. So it is, it's just, I don't know, it is what it is. They're making me go blank again. So, I don't know. Anyone else?
No worries.
Beautiful work there, by the way.
Yeah, that's Deb K does the great artwork, or the painting of the art, and she uses special coloring pencils.
I can see that. Goodness.
It's fun. He always loved me coloring, so that's why I do it for Chris, because it helps the U2K.
Right.
And then he uses the money. He uses the money to, for the cat. He has a cat rescue, so the money that he makes off these books, he gets to buy cat food and things like that.
I see. Right.
Yeah,
well,
I do. I do. Anyway, let me go ahead and end this recording. Thank you for watching your favorite platformer. Listening on Spotify, please leave a message on the comment section, like and subscribe, and check with us next week for another call. Thank you again for your time.